Today on Public Eye News, a search for a Menominee man continues, a $1.9 million fraud scheme, and the Lake Guardian begins its annual sampling.
Coming up, Luke Nitt will give you a weather forecast. We'll take a look at conditions for today and days to come. And later, he will give you your sports breakdown. I'm Bianca Kroll.
And I'm Maggie Franzen, and this is Public Eye News. Is continuing today in Menominee County for a missing man last seen near Stevenson. Authorities say Brett Parrott, a man in his mid-30s, has not been heard from since Sunday night around 11 p.m. Parrott was last seen walking along County Road G12. At the time of his disappearance, he was wearing a Green Bay Packers jersey, a knit cap, and carrying a gray backpack. Search efforts are ongoing both on the ground and in the air, and law enforcement is now going door to door in the area, asking residents to check security cameras, buildings, and property for any signs of him. Anyone with information or photos are being asked to contact Menominee County 911. As that search continues, we now turn to a separate case involving federal charges in Metro Detroit. A Michigan pharmacy owner could be spending up to a decade in prison after pleading guilty to a nearly $2 million fraud scheme. 41-year-old Robbie Hamdan of Dearborn Heights was billing insurers for prescription drugs that were never dispensed or in some cases even prescribed by a doctor. Investigators said that the pharmacy did not even carry a handful of the drugs that the insurance claims were being placed on. After a span of 5 years, the scheme resulted in nearly $1.9 million in losses that impacted Medicare, Medicaid, and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. Hamdan now faces up to 10 years in prison, along with possible fines and supervised release. A formal sentencing will be scheduled for a later date.
Communities across Michigan are hosting events to help students take the next step into their future. This includes enrolling in college for the first time, earning a certificate, or returning to complete a degree. This is part of the Career Exploration and Awareness Month, and Michiganders are encouraged to take part in these opportunities. This is with the help of the Michigan Department of Lifelong Education, Advancement, and Potential, who are helping to explore tuition-free and reduced cost options. For recent high school graduates, local community college is tuition-free regardless of family income. For private or public universities, students can receive up to $25,500 with the Michigan Achievement Scholarship. And for those looking for career training, students can receive up to $2,000. And with continuing efforts to increase access to the substance use disorder or SUD treatment, new ways are helping to get programs running. The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, or MDHHS, is accepting applications for the Michigan Opioid Treatment Access Loan Repayment. This program is open for providers to begin offering or expanding opioid addiction treatment programs. An estimated 1.3 million Michigan residents need treatment but are not receiving it. A needs assessment conducted by the MDHHS identified workforce shortages are the cause of the low treatment available. Though the new loan repayment program provides providers with eligible student loan repayments of between $15,000 and $30,000. This is for the medical and osteopathic medicine doctors, psychiatrists, nurse practitioners, physician assistants, case managers, and SUD counselors. And now to the latest on the historic Artemis II mission around the far side of the moon and the incredible images the crew is sending back. NASA giving us a home digital glimpse of what the astronauts were able to see for the first time with human eyes. More than a week in space, they're now preparing for Friday's return to Earth. CBS Jared Hill has the latest.
Stunning photos from the Artemis II mission around the moon, inspiring wonder and awe and full of scientific discovery.
Right away, they started describing the green around Aristarchus Plateau and different brown hues. And these colors really help tell us nuances about the chemistry of lunar material.
Tuesday, another milestone, the first ship-to-ship communication.
Integrity, this is the International Space Station. How do you hear?
International Space Station and Jessica, we have you loud and clear.
Houston copies. We'll see you on the other side.
Earlier this week, Artemis's lunar flyby made history, taking astronauts further into space than humans have ever gone.
To all of you down there on Earth and around Earth, We love you from the moon.
The crew naming 2 craters, one after Commander Reed Weissman's wife, who died of cancer in 2020.
There was, as Rick said, not a dry eye in the house. Really poignant moment.
Now, back in the gravitational pull of the Earth instead of the moon, the long journey home continues. Tuesday night, Orion's thrusters ignited for 15 seconds, a return trajectory correction burn,
We saw a good burn on board.
guiding the Artemis II crew back home. Off the coast of San Diego, the Navy's USS John P. Murtha is preparing to bring the capsule and its crew back to shore. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Don't touch that dial. Luke Niddle will be back with today's weather forecast.
At Reteti Elephant Sanctuary, the Samburu people are forging something new.
It's the only sanctuary in Africa. It's owned and run by the local people.
They offer orphans love, care, and wisdom, all to prepare them for returning to the wild.
We give them a second chance and teach them how to be elephants.
Tonight at 8 on WNMU TV.
Welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm your anchorman, Luke Niddle, and I'll be taking you through our weather forecast. Starting off with the campus cam behind me, as you can see, it's quite dreary outside. Not a lot peeking through those charcoal gray clouds, but that 274 inches of snow is finally starting to melt. Taking a look towards the rest of the UP, starting up north in Houghton, 39 degrees and partly cloudy, and there's going to be a lot of clouds all around the UP today. Over in Ironwood, 48. Down in Iron Mountain, it's going to be 40 with full clouds. Down south in Menominee, 43 and sunny. Taking a look towards our friends on the east side, over in Escanaba, it's going to be 37. In Manistee, 34. Over in the Sioux, it's 29 with some flurries over there. And back on our lovely Marquette, 34 and cloudy. Taking a more detailed look into those current conditions, our winds are going to be coming out of the south at 23 miles an hour, and our barometric pressure is going to be 29.93 inches and falling. Towards tonight, there's going to be some showers, so take an umbrella out if you are going to be out, with a low of 34, wind southwest at 20 miles an hour, and our moon phase, if you can see it, is going to be a waning gibbous. Taking a look towards tomorrow, it's going to be mostly sunny conditions with a high of 42, a low of 29, and those winds are going to continue south at 23 miles an hour. Taking a closer look into our weekend and into Sunday, Friday, it's going to be a high of 41 with a low of 30, and that sun is going to be just behind those clouds. Saturday, it's going to be a high of 47 with a low of 37, and that sun is going to be fully out to play. On Sunday, it's going to be a high 56, really warm weather with a low of 48, but with some showers mixed in. That's all I have for the forecast. Back to the desk.
Thank you, Luke. I am certainly looking forward to that sun. Now turning to statewide news. Scientists are taking to the Great Lakes for a mission that helps protect one of the region's most important resources. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has launched its annual water quality survey, led by its largest research vessel, the Great Lake Guardian. Teams from several universities, including Michigan Tech, will join federal scientists to collect water samples and study microscopic organisms across all 5 lakes. This time of year is crucial for researchers as it offers a unique snapshot of lake conditions with cooler temperatures and higher nutrient levels. This data helps monitor environmental threats and protect the lakes so it can continue to be used for drinking water and recreation. While efforts continue to protect the lakes, the state is also looking to invest in its future. A $6 million grant is now on the table to further strengthen Michigan's workforce. The state has opened applications for the Going Pro Talent Fund, which supports job training programs for businesses across multiple industries. Since launching in 2014, the program has supported more than 200,000 workers and nearly 9,000 businesses across the state. Impactful numbers for Michigan. Officials say that the goal is to close major skill gaps and boost long-term employment as well as economic growth. This program not only offers better training for employees, but also supports workers having a better chance at obtaining higher salaries. Applications for Going Pro will be open until April 24th. Iran and the U.S. agreed to a 2-week ceasefire less than 2 hours before President Trump's deadline to strike the country's bridges and power plants. Now both sides are claiming victory while working towards a permanent solution, which President Trump says is far along. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
The Pentagon says the fight against Iran is over for now as negotiations continue with the hope of a long-term peace.
The joint force remains ready, if ordered or called upon, to resume combat operations with the same speed and precision as we've demonstrated over the last 38 days, and we hope that that is not the case.
Pakistan, which helped mediate the ceasefire, has invited Iran and the U.S. to meet in Islamabad on Friday for further discussion.
We will go for negotiations to see how serious the other side is.
Speaking in Hungary Wednesday morning, Vice President J.D. Vance called it a fragile truce.
If the Iranians are willing, in good faith, to work with us, I think we can make an agreement. If they're going to lie, if they're going to cheat, if they're going to try to prevent even the fragile truce that we've set up from taking place, then they're not going to be happy.
President Trump posted this morning on social media that the U.S. would be working with Iran to dig up their enriched uranium stockpile. And in exchange, America is talking with Iran about tariff and sanctions relief.
A key part of the ceasefire agreement is Iran reopening the Strait of Hormuz to allow oil tankers through that key corridor. Pentagon officials say they believe that is starting to happen.
Our military is watching, I'm sure their military is watching, but commerce will flow. And that's what you saw the markets react to, is that reality.
Oil prices dropped nearly $20 a barrel in overnight trading, but are still above pre-war levels. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
And don't go anywhere. Luke Little will have your sports breakdown.
Your brain. Every moment changes your brain. But who or what is really in control? It has a mind of its own.
There's always something pulling the strings behind the scenes. That I control my emotions, abilities is probably not true.
Environment and traumatic events change people, putting our sense of self to the test.
Come on, no, seriously.
Your brain. Who's in control on Nova?
Tonight at 9 on WNMU TV.
Welcome back to Public Eye Sports. Once again, I'm Luke Niddle, and I'll be taking you through our Triple Detroit Sports Breakdown. Tipping off on the floorboards, the regular season for the NBA continues to wind down, but the momentum for Motown only ramps up. With just 3 contests left for the Pistons, their matchup with the eliminated Milwaukee Bucks serves for a possible clinch of the #1 seed for the 3-1-3, which would be their first 1 seed since 2008. If the Pistons win out, they will finish the season with an even 60 wins, something Detroit has not accomplished since their 2005-06 season, where they also finished first place in the Eastern Conference. With Cade Cunningham inching ever closer to a return since a collapsed lung suffered on March 19th, their #1 scorer is still listed as questionable for tonight's action. Tip-off is slated for 7 p.m. And crossing over to the pond, playoff hopes for the other Detroit team in Little Caesars Arena grow slimmer by the day. A 4-3 shootout loss last night at the hands of the Columbus Blue Jackets give the Red Wings a mere 6.3% chance to inch into the postseason. The Wings will need to win out, and even then, they will not control their own destiny for the last wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. Detroit now also holds the title for the longest playoff drought within the NHL after the Buffalo Sabres locked up a spot in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Currently, Detroit has not made the offs since the 2015-16 season and could very well extend that streak from 9 to 10 seasons. Their first chance for a winning streak will come against Philadelphia tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And rounding the bases over to the Diamond, the Detroit Tigers themselves are looking to right the ship after a loss to the meddling Minnesota Twins sent the Gritty Tigs on a 3-game skid. The 7-3 loss last night with Tarek Skubal on the bump ensured Detroit won't be able to win the series outright, but the possibility of a series tie still remains in play. The Tigers have won 2 of their 3 opening series to kick off the 2026 campaign, but remain at the bottom of the AL Central due to a series sweep at the hands of the Diamondbacks. Taking the mound for the Tigers tonight is the left-handed magician Framber Valdez, who still remains undefeated with a 1-0 record to open the campaign. Valdez will duel with Bailey Ober, who still looks for his first win of the year. First pitch tonight is slated for 7:40 p.m. That's all I have for sports. Back to the desk.
Thank you, Luke. That is what we like to see. Unfortunately, I know Bianca is a bit of a Red Wings fan.
Yeah, it's a little sad to see that they couldn't clinch it again into those playoffs, but I'm really hoping the next season is for them.
Me too. That is all the time we have today. I'm Maggie Franzen.
And I'm Bianca Kroll.
And this is Public Eye News.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.